Today I am giving myself a much needed healing session, and you're coming along with me. Occasionally I film them because it's a really nice way for people to understand what goes on behind the scenes in healing sessions with me. And this is called divine healing that I do, and it gets to the really deeply buried unconscious stuff and pulls it out. So it could be self-sabotage, it could be fears. Quite often there's a lot of energetic work. It could be trauma, anything that's out of alignment with your soul. And the more you do, the more you clear, and the easier it really does feel that life becomes. And so I've already done the opening. We do an opening and a closing before each session to bring the practitioner and the client into alignment, but I'm just aligning myself. And we never know what's going to come up in divine healing, but I have set my intention. And my intention is to clear what no longer serves me. And I do know that there is a lot of underlying low level irritation and fear. And even as I'm speaking about it, I'm getting an ache in this part of my neck and shoulder. And this is this kind of neck part is the upper trapezius, which is linked to the kidney meridian, which is linked to fear. And then there's the back of the shoulder as well. So there's definitely something going on. I feel a bit tired. I feel a bit overloaded, and a little toxic, a bit sludgy. That's kind of the physical feeling. Then emotionally, I'm feeling, a little irritable, a little tired, and a little anxious of the future. We all are. We all get that. It's really normal. So I'm going to start, and there'll be parts I fast forward because it will be boring for you to listen to. So let's see what's going to come up. So we're going to go to level 4. There are lots of charts in divine healing. The level 4 chart has 26 different options, and I'm going to pick intuitively which one I need, and it'll take me where I need to go. I'm getting the number 7, and I muscle test it's 7. So this is all about clearing a block that is disconnecting me from God or from Source. And I'm going to say a little command code. So let's pick the number 126. It's 5. Knowing all life is sacred. That is the statement. And quite simply, I encode this in. And I do a lot of clearing in divine healing. So I yawn. Occasionally I burp. But I will normally yawn and lots of tears will come through. Divine healing is all about acknowledging something within that you were not conscious of, and then releasing it through words, and often encoding something new to take its place. That's not the case here. This was just a statement to reconnect me. Fun, I have a sabotage that I need to clear. It's one of my favourite charts, and I do it a lot on clients. We all sabotage ourselves in massive ways. Often we're conscious of them, but we don't know where they come from, the sabotage. Wouldn't it be nice to know why you sabotage certain areas of your life so you don't have to fall into that behavioural pattern? This is what this chart does. I am sabotaging nutrition. Now, there's a lot of exploring that needs to happen when things come up because they don't often make sense on the surface. So what I do is I shut my eyes because it brings me out of the mind and the ego, which tries to look around and escape. I shut my eyes, I come into my body, maybe take a few deep breaths, and I just notice, where is this sabotage relevant in my life? And I know exactly what it is. It's come up quite a few times, which means that it's quite deeply layered. I don't lovingly support my body enough with the right nutrition. I used to take supplements. I used to look after my body really well, especially in my 20s. And I now tend to eat to live rather than live to eat. And food can feel like an inconvenience to me. This is partly due to an imprint from my mum, who I love dearly, but food can be an inconvenience for her, even though she's a wonderful cook. I also have 8s in my spiritual karma and my soul contract. And 8s are all about learning to connect with your body, and it can feel really hard. And now there is a lot of pain in the tops of my shoulders, which I think is where this sabotage is really sitting. And if I ask myself, which is one of the questions, how is the sabotage to feeding myself properly and getting the nutrients that I need affecting my life? I would say it affects my energy levels. I say it is a reflection of how I value myself, and maybe I'm not valuing myself enough. And there's a fear under the surface as well. And the fear is it'll take too long, it'll be too expensive, and I don't have the time. And fear of the lack of time is one of my biggest things. And I tune into my body to notice where I'm feeling. The energy of this program, this sabotage, is all here, like this massive, sensitive area of my head and face. Sometimes I like to give this feeling a colour or a shape to make it more tangible in my mind. And all I'm doing now is bringing awareness to the sabotage. When we see things within us that we don't appreciate or love or respect, and they bring us shame, we tend to shut them away and not look at them. In divine healing, we do the opposite. We bring them up into the light and we expose them and we go into them and through them, for that is the only way to release them. So I'm just feeling the energy of this not allowing myself to look after myself properly. It takes too long, it's too time consuming. You know, my body's not that important, and I just feel it all around here. And I'm now going to tune into any emotion that is related to this sabotage. And immediately I get a little voice from my body, from my body's consciousness saying, "You're not looking after me." A very sad little energy. So I'm just allowing myself to feel that. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go even deeper into the sabotage by asking the ego what's really going on. And the way we do that is we put a hand on our tummy button, and this helps us tune in to the subconscious. And I'm going to ask myself some questions. It's a bit easier to ask someone else than ask yourself, but we try. The sabotage to eating well allows me to stay in avoidance. That's the answer I've come up with. And I get like tiny mini yawns coming through my jaw. Next question. What I don't have to do by having this sabotage to eating well is care. So you just get the first answer that pops up. What I fear would happen if I didn't sabotage nutrition. This is a hard one, so I'm going to ask myself the question again. What I fear would happen if I didn't sabotage nutrition is that I would thrive. And isn't that interesting? That is a fear. That is a fear. So often, and this is the big thing about illness, there is often a lot of secondary gain to being ill. And there is a chart in Divine Healing which is all about why we get sick. And when I was training, I did a practice, and one of them for me was I get ill so I can rest. It gives me permission and time to rest when I get ill, and that's why I get ill, so I can rest. That was the secondary gain for me. And as someone who finds it really hard to relax and to slow down, that was very truthful. Okay, fourth question. What I fear I would lose if I didn't sabotage nutrition is time, because it takes time to eat well, and time is something I never feel I have enough of. I have a very expansive energy. I have 12 threes in my soul contract, and if you have them, you will resonate with this need to do more and have more and be more all the time. It's very tiring. What I'm attempting to prove by sabotaging eating well is that I don't need it. I'm strong, I'm independent, I'm capable. I don't need to bother with all of that. Like, I follow people on Instagram and they're like, you've got to eat this for your hormones, you've got to do that. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to do it my way, and my way is the right way. So it's a big ego thing there. I'm attempting to prove that I know better. And in many cases, we do know what's best for our bodies, but sometimes we also need to listen. And again, the threes, if you have threes in the soul contract, it's all about communication. So it's speaking, but it's also listening. And if we don't listen to other people, our wisdom cannot evolve. So threes don't like to listen to others. So what I'm attempting to get by sabotaging nutrition, what I'm attempting to get by sabotaging eating well, is more freedom in my life. More space, more time, more freedom. That's what I'm trying to get. I mean, if there was a pill that I could eat instead of a meal, Mum and I always say we'd love to just take a pill and not have to eat to get what we need. So you can see why this sabotage has come up. And the last one, what I'm attempting to avoid by sabotaging eating well, what I'm attempting is a really hard one. I have to come out of my mind and let the answer come from within. What I'm attempting to avoid by sabotaging eating well. Interesting, the word that's come up is feeling. I do not know why. And it might be around feeling and really connecting to my body, which is my eternal challenge. Okay, good, something came out. So sabotages rarely exist on their own. They are often hooked into fears and ego agendas and other things. So I feel like there is more to this sabotage than meets the eye. And we're going to find out what it is. There's always more. So what I'm going to do is work on my hormones. And it sounds pretty crazy, but we infuse hormonal balancing to recalibrate and adjust. This is part of what we do in Divine Healing. And when we infuse a different hormonal frequency in the body, it keeps us in balance and keeps us grounded. So I'm just going to see what I need. So I'm just going to infuse these hormones in. I'll fast forward this bit. Being with 100% healthy balancing and homeostasis of all these hormone systems and the activation of the pathway because in order to enable accurate biochemical connections to be made, regulate production and functions, optimize effective transportation of cycling systems, restore and maintain sepsis accuracy operation performance, correct medical aspects of feedback loop, organize detoxification, process stomach function, expand interaction and communication within hormonal systems, and between the systems of brain, nervous system, and chakras. Yeah! Space frequency of hormonal system multi-dimensional intelligence and high brain state point creation. So let's see if there is anything else I need to clear. Not ready to clear the self-sabotage yet. I'm getting that we need to go to 11, DH2, 11, DH3. Need to do a little bit of reflex points, which is just another form of balancing. So we call these charts in between emotional charts integration charts, because if you think about going on a long walk which is clearing and healing emotional trauma in the body or programming, we need to take some things on us on that walk. We need a good pair of shoes, a bottle of water, a map, a snack. And this is what these integration charts are, these like little support systems for the bigger work that we do. I'm going to do some lymphatic reflex points, which is what I learned in systematic kinesiology, which was my practice for 4 or 5 years. Let's see what we need. Aha, the fascia lata. So the fascia lata is on the large intestine meridian, and it's all around stripping up this very sore point here. And actually, because we're just using touch, I'm not going to do it very strongly. I'm going to do it on each side. And the large intestine sits in the metal element in traditional Chinese medicine. And it is where we do not want to let go of things. It's where we hold on to grief. And if you think about it, we store a lot of emotions in the lower part of our stomach, which is the large intestine. So often when we are constipated, emotionally it's to do with not wanting to let things go, wanting to hold on. And the other organ that's linked to grief are the lungs. So if you experience grief in your life, it can really affect your lungs and your breathing. Perfect, something cleared. And I'm just going to say the little command code and keep rubbing. Perfect. So again, I shut my eyes and I come back into my body and I allow myself to feel how that has integrated. My body feels warm and tingly and relaxed. Which is always a good sign. I had a client yesterday for a session and I asked him how he was feeling afterwards, and he said, my heart feels warm and I am deeply relaxed. And that's exactly how I want people to feel after a divine healing session, just full body, absolute, decompressed, relaxed, warm and nurtured, and feeling safe within your body and safe within your life path. We're still working on the layers under the sabotage. Think of a layered cake. The sabotage is on the top and then all the layers underneath. And I'm going to infuse a little bit of crystal energy. Again, this is another tiny integration, so just see what crystal I need. Okay, so I have dioptase and kinoite, that's quite hard to say, cleanses and keeps tissues from decay, stimulates glands and hormones, which is great because that's exactly what I needed. And I just allow the vibration of the energy to come, vibration of the crystal to come to me. Again, it's really, really relaxing. And all the pain and tension from my shoulders has dropped. It's a tiny bit, it's moved a little bit down here. And we're moving on. We are moving on. And what my body is wanting to know is the original time and date that the sabotage was put in place. And the more information we have about a program, the more we have to clear. And the original time that the sabotage came in was in an alternate reality. Divine healing is multidimensional because we are multidimensional beings. We exist in other lives, other dimensions. And I'm getting that we don't need to do any command for that, but we do need a little bit of chakra work. So in this session, interestingly, it's not very emotional for me. Divine healing can be a deeply emotional experience for people, and for me when I give myself sessions. But for this, filming myself, obviously what's coming up is what's meant to come up in order to show you what happens in a session. So let's do some chakra function. So again, I pick one of the 1 to 17 chakras. So we have ones above and below the body, as well as in the body, the common 7. And I'm getting 8. And 8 is the throat chakra, which is the power of sound. And I'm getting about... So I'm just going to do the command. Higher self, I command the throat chakra to be cleared and balanced for ability to communicate clearly. And speaking with integrity and authenticity. And that the changes are fully integrated multidimensionally. Thank you. And I'm also going to do the thymus chakra. The thymus gland represents our immune system and our sense of self, our confidence. It's a gateway communication to our higher self, the bigger version of us, the version of us that connects between the physical plane and the spiritual planes. Let's see. Oh, nice. Higher self, I command the thymus chakra to be cleared and balanced for greater conversion of higher dimensional energies, and that the changes are fully integrated multidimensionally. No more showing. This is a really fun chart. This is called Dark Force Seed Crystals. And these are like double tetrahedrons which hold particular beliefs and patterns which hold us back. And they sit in our energy bodies. And they have an implied in order to survive. So if we don't live by them, it feels like we won't survive. So we want to clear them because they are not good. Okay, let's... you know what? This came through to me so quickly. And it is, I must control what I think, feel and do in order to survive. I must control what I think, feel and do in order to survive. So this is very much a 7 energy in the soul contract, which is often about rigidity and control. And the 7s, I have 4 of them in my chart and 7 across my birth and common name, which is a lot, 7 sevens. The 7 energy is all about putting on a mask to hide who you are from other people in order to stay safe and to keep your vulnerabilities and your shame hidden from the world. So it's a pretty deep one. And I just let myself feel it. I must control what I think, feel and do. I feel this in the tops of my legs. This is where the energy is sitting. Almost like plates or metal casings on my legs, very restrictive. I also feel it on the tops of my shoulders, tops of my arms, all around here. And for me, it's very, very, very linked to financial security. My survival is financial security, and I must do more in order to have more and keep myself safe. That is the belief system. And so I must be very controlling with my time, with my thoughts, with my energy in order to stay on track. Because I did have some really difficult times, a couple of years ago, and before that. If you have threes in your soul contract, you can bounce around with your financial situation because you're here on a journey of self-worth, and our relationship with money is a direct correlation to the relationship that we have with ourselves. And the more we feel worthy, the more we receive because we feel deserving of it. And if you have threes in your soul contract, you may not be aware of how you truly feel about yourself because threes tend to numb and hide from themselves and from others how they really feel. And of course, there's loads of stuff that imprints our relationship with money, and I just did a video on this, which I'll put below. And if you have, it's essentially the 3 and 4 energies that are really linked in the soul contract system to abundance. So I'm just feeling this energy, and this is more of an energetic session than an emotional one, but I'm feeling a lot moving up and down the right side of my body, which I believe is the more practical energy, the masculine, more practical. Almost like some kind of gripping, kind of pain, tension. And I'm just going to see how this affects my life. I must control what I think, feel, and do. I must be in control, and I think it is to stay safe. I need to be really careful with how I spend my time. Every part of my day is planned. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but... And now this energy is pinpointed all around the back of my head, just sort of here. It's really sore. And I'm going to see if we need anything else to clear this. Yeah, we need a little back flower energy. Back flowers are energies derived from plants and flowers that have been shown to have emotional healing properties. I've been working with them for years. They are so special. And there's 36 back flower essences. And I'm actually getting that I need 6, which is cherry plum. And this is all about fear of losing control of the mind, which is exactly what we are clearing with the dark force seed crystal. Dread of doing and desperation. It's like a really desperate energy. And again, it doesn't describe who you are. It describes how you're feeling about something under the surface. And cherry plum, the affirmation is, I remain balanced under extreme stress and trust myself and my higher self, that I am unconditionally loved and supported. Like manifest a frequency of cherry plum, black flower, essence of every part of my being, as long as it's required, multi-dimensionally, basically like forms, emotions, and mindsets, unconditional thinking, bring all energy into alignment and harmony with each other. Thank you. That is the perfect back flower to put in. And I'm also going to put in a Bailey flower essence, which is similar. And this is oxalis, for things that have you by the throat and seem to be so overpowering that there looks to be no way out. So let's clear this. Let's see if this dark force seed crystal is ready to be released. It is. So again, bringing awareness to things, feeling that awareness in the body or emotionally or both. Quite often it's both. Is there any further information required? No. So medical core and healing team online, please. I'm going to say the command. I'll follow command all dark see crystals including I must control what I think, feel and do in order to survive. Be reabsorbed into the oneness of light. Get out of the matrix for forms, emotions, beliefs, cellular memory. Human genetic consciousness, DNA encoding, programming, programs, no shock, stress, trauma, grace, and needs. Advanced speed, multi-dimensional emergent creation, the highest and best good. And also grace, the essence of purity, the power of faith, and degree of victory. Expand results associated with energies and our connection to the original time. So I just let that integrate and chill. No more needs to be done. So the sabotage is ready to now clear, which was sabotage to nutrition. And it had many, many layers underneath it. I self-scale 100% with energy, all levels, dimensions, and time frames, 100% original cause, core issues, sources, how all energy attached, and all its effects, motivation. Thank you. I'm now 100% willing to release the need to sabotage any area of my life. I'm 100% willing to co-create with the higher self to allow the full potential to shine forth in my life. So that is showing that my mini session is complete today. There's nothing else that needs clearing. What I will say is every session is different. This was very, very light. I've had sessions where I've been absolutely howling, especially when it comes to facing up to really, really deep stuff within you that you feel great shame and terror at looking at. But this was exactly what I needed today. So we always trust that what comes through is meant to come through. So what I'll do is I'll do the close and the session is complete. So we cleared the self-sabotage. We did a lot of integration around it, and we cleared a really nice chunky dark force seed crystal. And we reconnected to higher self. We did some really beautiful work. And if I tune into how I'm feeling now, I feel very refreshed. I feel relaxed. I still have a little bit of aching carrying down my arm into my body, but it feels like it's really released from the tops of my shoulders and my neck. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I wish you a really beautiful rest of your day.